Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial in which I want to show you how to use the Widget Designer with various sensors. The Canadian company Phidgets manufactures various different sensor types, which reaches from simple relays to digital in and outputs, analog sensors, or even everything else like rotary sensors which you would need for automated or interactive systems. In our demo system today, we're using a Phidget Interface Kit 004, which is a board holding 4 relay outputs, and a 01616, which is a board consisting out of 16 digital inputs as well as 16 digital outputs. We have wired the 5-volt output of the 01616 to one of the relays on the 004 board to route this, as soon as the relay is closed, back to the input number 0 of the digital inputs at the Phidget Interface Kit 01616. As soon as we close the relay, the 5 volts will be distributed to the input 0 and the status LED will light up so that we know that the input has been switched. Both Phidgets are locally connected via USB to my computer, so I can locally access them. By opening up the configuration, I simply click on the plus, select from the Phidget devices, and in this case we want to use the Interface Kit 004. Once it is added, I can give it a name, so for easier scripting I will shrink the name and just name it Phidgets 004. It is enabled and I will pick the serial number, which automatically populates as soon as it is connected to my computer. Directly after clicking apply, you can double check the relay by switching it on and off. You might hear the sound of the relay closing and opening, and you will definitely see the status LED of the 01616 showing the input of the voltage. Going on, adding also a 01616 device. I'll do the same over here and just name it 01616, selecting its serial number, and you will see not all of the serials are shown. This is filtered by the device ID. I do in this case have multiple, so 16 digital outputs, and you will see the red LEDs coming up as soon as I switch them on. And I do have the digital inputs on this side, where I can directly assign a script depending on the state when a channel is switched on and off. Let's quickly create a label. Make it a little bit larger, that we can better see it on the screen. And as soon as the state of channel number 1 is switched to 0, I want to change label.1.text to equal the string switched on. I want to do the same for switched to off and set the label 1text to switched off. I will apply this and now we can double check with the digital outputs. As soon as I click it, you will see that the label will switch to on and off depending on its state. This is only the testing state over here, so we want to create a button for it. Create a custom script button, quickly give it a label, relay on, or simply relay. Then we define the on script. In this case, we are typing Phidgets, select our 004 device, which is our relay, dot output 0 dot set state. It asks for a boolean, so you can either type a 1 or a true. I copy the script to the release script, and to show you that you can also use false, I would use it over here, otherwise you could use a 0. Quickly setting the button to a toggle, finishing all this with OK, switching to run mode and pressing the button, and you will see it switched to on, switched to off. So this way we can use a button with a simple script by using its name to recall the functionalities of the device, and we can directly use the integrated scripting areas within the digital inputs of this side to very easily execute a script as soon as a state will be changed. WindHub Phidgets are flexible devices which can connect up to 6 different sensors of various kinds. They can connect digital inputs and outputs as well as analog inputs. In our example, we've connected a slider to port 0 of the WindHub Phidget. This Phidget itself is connected via USB to a different computer accessible in the network. You can either just install the Phidget driver on the remote PC, or you can make use of the Phidget SPC4 or other wireless WindHubs, which are a combination of a little computer hosting a WindHub, including the analog or digital in and outputs, as well as some USB connections. With this, you can remotely access Phidgets in your system. Let's check out how to use WindHubs as well as remotely connected Phidgets in Widget Designer. Begin with opening the Phidget control panel, which you will find in the tray icons. By double-clicking it, it opens up this control panel listing your local Phidgets, which is 004 as well as the 01616. And you will see a remote server, which has a USB WindHub connected. Opening this up, you will find the 6 different ports. We know we have connected the slider to port 0, so we open this up. And as we know from the Phidget type, it is a voltage ratio, so we open up this information. What we will see is that we can gather even more information by clicking on this pin, and it will give me the serial number of either the WindHub or the device itself. It will tell me if it is a hub port device, meaning it is directly connected to the WindHub and not using any extension boards. And every information I basically need to know, including the IP address. We'll remember this to enter it in the Widget Designer. To use any remote Phidgets in the network, you would first of all need to add a Phidget server device. Type in the IP address of the connected device, set a password if needed, or choose the port in case you have changed it. By pressing apply, it will connect to this network device and list all connected Phidgets, in this case the WindHub, including one first port, which is the port 0, with all its possibilities. Now I can start using this device. As I've connected a slider, which is a voltage ratio input, I'll add such device, keep the name, take the serial number, which is already the WindHub on the remote computer. I'll select the hub port 0, as this is the one I've chosen. The channel is also 0, as we could see beforehand. It is a hub port device because it is directly attached to the WindHub. And I'll select the pin 1112, which is the slider. After clicking apply, you will see that the current value changes as soon as I move the fader. To make use of these values and the fader, I could add an event listener, give this the name fader event. You can come up with something which makes sense for you. And in this case, we want to pick the Phidget voltage ratio input value. So whenever this value is being changed, we can use the value which is forwarded to the scripting and set it, let's say, into label 1.text equals the value from above. Which means as soon as I move the fader, you will see that the label is being updated with the value of the fader. This is basically all you need to know about the Phidgets. It always follows the same procedure. You would add a device, you can use its direct scripting or an event like just shown, or you would choose some special Phidgets like the RFID reader, which comes with a distinct feature set. Have fun building your own Phidget systems, varying from a very simple design to a complex system. Thanks for watching this tutorial. In case you have further questions, please feel free to reach out to our support.